I'm Riley Harvey for VCN, and this is the Moon Riders Heroica series. On stage 11 tonight, or on the Borrego Springs circuit. It's a flat and fast circuit, but it is long. Be an interesting one here. We can see on the front row there we've got Christophe Contant, and he does look like he's wearing the gold jersey tonight, so we'll have to keep an eye out for Wouter Claes. He's got M. Pope stood next to him there. M. Pope is using the Pedalairs jersey, which is normally the jersey that Christophe Contant would be wearing, but see tonight he's in the gold of the series leader. Just looking through the standings, the tight race, still all to play for. There's only 50 points separating Christophe Contant and Wouter Claes. This is one of those series where only your best times count. But remember rightly, it's a 12-week series. It's only, I think, 10 of the weeks that count for your racing. So, oh sorry, it's only 8 that count for the racing. So it can all change in these last few races. Christophe, from watching him in the past, he's got a good solid engine, able to keep very high power for long periods of time, but isn't as capable when it comes to changeable conditions. So we expect he'll do quite well on this course, although the Moon Riders team is just on. It's a team, so we'll see how they get on and how they are able to disrupt Christophe's efforts. See Swank now putting the power down, Bergqvist putting the power down, and they're going off like rockets. Christophe a little bit further back there, it's putting the power on slightly later to make sure he stays with his front group. For those that are newer to watching virtual cycling, newer to the virtual cycling platforms, the races do tend to start with quite an explosive start because they're shorter races. When you're looking at something like the Tour de France, the Giro d'Italia, they're very long races, and they have, basically you're in a situation where you get worn down. So the riders don't necessarily start off with such an electric start because they can't make it all the way to the end of the race with those sorts of powers coming out. But with these short, brief rides, you can sort of blast them out and get back to a more normal tempo once you've formed lead groups. See, I think that's Mike Wareham there, just getting back onto this group. Doug Hart's another good strong rider. He's at the front of this group. See the group getting a little bit bigger now. So we are live. We're live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and another number of other social platforms. They are all filtered through to a chat app that we have. So if you've got anything that you're interested in, you want me to focus on a particular rider or fill you in on any information, give us a shout through on the comment section. It'll get through to us, and I'll answer that back. I've also got race radio up, so if any of the riders are chatting in race, I can pull that up and give you a bit of a heads up of what's going on. I see Wouter Claes now near the front of the pack. He's obviously keen to get a win on this race, but more so, he needs to distance Christophe and make sure that Christophe doesn't get a good position. So he's already making a break here. Griffiths, then that's Doug Hart in the front there, and they've opened up a gap on the group of Christophe Contant. It's only a 40-meter gap, but if they can keep working together and hold that, see Bergqvist making a sprint there, jumping for that group, and Christophe thinking about it. Is he going to make that? A number of other riders are going now, closing down that front group. There's Barbara Herrera there. And these riders, are they going to make it across? Don't seem to be closing down too well there. Wallagora, Bergqvist, still not made the catch. Wallagora just in no man's land. See Wouter Claes, Daniel Schock there. One of his Moonrider teammates. Griffiths just being pushed back there. Got Bergqvist on his wheel. Daniel working hard here for Wouter. Doug Hart. Doug Hart's a very strong rider. Did well in the crits that they had in this series. So the Moonrider series, the Heroica series that they've had, has gone round all of the real roads on RGT. They're a great way of demonstrating the graphics, the realism of RGT, and the Moonriders have put together a fantastic tour. They've already organised their next tour, which is a 7-day event, and that's going to take place, I think it takes place on the 14th of March. Starts off, it is already on RGTDB, so please don't rely on my memory. Head over to RGTDB and get the dates from there. In fact, I can do that for you myself. You can see a gap opening up there over the Contant group. This group of 6 working together now. They've got a 120-meter gap over the Rowbottom Contant group. Daniel Schock will be burying himself for his team leader Wouter Claes, but it's important for Wouter that he not only distance Contant, but he needs the points. He needs to have, well, really he wants to win, and for Christophe to be as far down the field as is possible. So in a great position at the moment. You do often find in these virtual races that the chasing packs don't communicate too well with each other. I'm looking at the race radio. There's no messages being sent between any of these riders, and whether they're on Discord talking to each other or not, you can't really tell. You do find that chasing packs, quite often, no communication. They don't do the roll-off scenario, so you don't have a rider going to the front and pulling. They'll just have a rider go to the front and they'll sit on the wheel, and then that rider will rest, and the pace slows again. They don't have that exchange, the little wave to say, right, it's your turn, come to the front, do a pull, let's reel them back in. Now there is Mike Wareham back in that group. Mike Wareham's another one of the Moonriders, and he will no doubt be on Discord chatting to the rest of his teammates and filling them in on how that group's working together, much effort they're putting in, and how hard this group at the front needs to go, how hard Daniel Schock and Wouter need to work to make sure that they stay out in front. So the Moonrider series, they take place over 3 different time zones. So they do them in Pacifica time zones, European time zone, and the Americas time zone. They all come together to be one big series, which is great. So you get a big group of people competing against each other, not necessarily in the same time zone on the same race, but it's good to see that, and it brings some interesting racing to some of these other time zones which don't always have good organisers in them. See, this gap is just steadily opening up. We've got 230 metres now back to the group there. And we've got Mark Rowbottom in that back group. He stays there as well. Mark's a good sprinter. So that's potentially another position that Christoph has lost there. Make a quick mention, there's the hot crit race tomorrow. So if you're into your crit racing, VCN, that's who we are. We organise a fortnightly crit racing event on Wednesdays at 7:30 GMT, that's Greenwich Mean Time. And tomorrow it's the Sun City Crit, 7:30 start. Guaranteed fast laps. It's going to be a quick race, they always are. I'm just on RGTDB now, just trying to have a quick look and get these accurate dates for you for the next series. Oh. Laser at the back there, leading this group at the moment, and he's putting in some serious watts. He's up at 4.65 watts per kilogram. On these flatter races, it is more the raw watts that are going to matter to the riders. So he was pushing out 480 watts momentarily there. Sorry, 380 watts momentarily. He's just eased off, and Mark Rowbottom's come to the front. Mike Wareham's come to the front, 3.7 watts per kilogram. But they're not really damaging the lead. Christoph Contant there, just in the green power zone, taking it nice and steady. We have a group behind these guys on the road. We'll just have a name check with everyone in a moment. So the next tour series for the Moon Riders is the Return of the Heroes, and it's loosely themed around Star Wars to give you a bit of interest. And the Moon Rider saga continues. 4 months after the first battle, the Dark Forces have come up with a new plan. Episode 2, The Return of the Heroes. And VCN are going to be covering the whole of the series. And we're expecting that to start on the 15th of March. So 15th of March for that series to start. And it does take place over a number of different days. Will be a 7-race series with the 5 best results from the 7 going forward. Give you your overall GC. We'll just give a few name checks out on this group. We've got a couple of guys going off the front there. Mark Rowbottom followed by Van der Peer. Got Barbara Herrera there. Kubchak, Christoph Contant, Mike Wareham, Swank, Laser, Stopples, Hetland. Sorry, Laser and Stopples. Hetland is in the next group behind. So we just go drop back. I like to give everyone a name check as we're going through these races. Everyone puts in a lot of effort. Might not be in the winning group, but they're still trying hard. Testing themselves. We've got May, Faustino and Hetland in this group. And then another group of 4. Montero, Fevre, Dolphin and Stenberg. Box stands there. Trying to make the catch with that group. little bit further back on the road, we've got Louis, Shoren, Camera, Hope, and we've Adkins. Adkins, I think, must have had essentially an issue there. They're riding fairly. They're a very light rider, Adkins, there from the looks of things. They've got a high watt per kilogram, but their raw watts is quite low. The low heart rate there, so maybe they're just treating this as a tempo ride, just something with a bit of company. We'll fly back up to the leaders of the race. Daniel Schock still pushing the tempo on the front there. This group now clear by nearly half a kilometre from the chasing pack. I would suspect that the winner is going to be coming from this group unless there's something really silly that happens. Wouter, Daniel controlling this group, making sure the pace stays fairly high. There, 4.5 watts per kilogram is pushing out 340 watts. Bergqvist rolls through, takes a turn on the front. Nose in the wind. 410 watts nearly. And everyone just sits in, forms a pace line. The draft savings for these riders now will be amazing. Woots is just off to the side there slightly, not making the most of it. But see there, Daniel, he's saving nearly 200 watts when he's tucked in. Line just breaks up a little bit. Seeing that line form there did remind me of the TTs. There's a number of TT races taking part on RGT. There is the VCN time trial series, which you can find through rgtdb.com, and there's instructions there of how to take part. And if you're looking for a team, then you can always jump on the Discord server. There's a link to the Discord server in the description for this ride, and find yourself a team on there to take part. They're great races, the team time trials. They're challenging, but they're also good for camaraderie. So I ride with the no drop team for Team Lou. So basically it's a no drop team, so you always make it to the end even if you're not feeling the greatest, but your team pulls you around. They're just seeing some red watt numbers in the group behind there. We'll just drop back, see what's happening there. We see Christophe Contant, Mark Rowbottom and Van der Peer just slightly off the front of that group. Perhaps they felt that they weren't maintaining a pace there. They've split off into their own group. Christophe will be conscious of it, his 7th position at the moment, which means that they're dropping the points from this race. This will be one of the races that he doesn't take forward for the rest of the series. It is getting near to the point where between Christophe and Wouter it's going to be wins, just the wins that matter for them. I don't know whether they can see what's happening behind them, but just seeing some red power numbers in the front group as well as Doug Hart, Griffiths and Daniel Schock briefly put in efforts there. This group itself is fracturing slightly. Doug Hart and Wooter going off the front. Griffiths having a little gap open up to him there. He's closing that down. Walagora, Bergqvist all catching back onto Wooter Clace and Griffiths there. Wooter's not letting the tempo drop too much. Still pushing forward. Perhaps felt there that the tempo just dropped briefly. Perhaps the riders weren't working as hard as they had been doing earlier. Forced them to increase the tempo. With 9.9 kilometers left to go for these lead riders, it's just over a lap, 7.7 kilometers per lap. Ridiculously small amount of elevation on the route round here. It's used for time trials. In general, I believe the last believe that they take the 24-hour team time trials. Having a message from Tim Louis to move to the second group, please. I'm thinking he might be in the Christophe Contant group. They've split now from the group following them. They're still 550 meters away from the lead group. Mark Rowbottom from Racio Racing's in this group. Seen Mark racing before. He has got quite a good sprint on him. So the Christophe is putting out steady power, 285 watts. Mark just sat directly behind him in his wheel, and he's saving 119 watts there. Sitting in, enjoying a free ride on Christophe's draft, and feeling that Mark will be riding that wheel all the way to the finish line before jumping him with a big sprint effort. Drop back now, we see Faustino in 11th position. Laser forming their own group. Then we've got Horenbeck, Stopples, Swank, Mike Wareham, and Barbara Herrera. And Stopples putting in a big effort now with Laser. Sorry. Stopples putting in a big effort there to try and catch up to Laser. Like Laser's gone clear with his riding partner Faustino there. Kubchak drops from that group. And Hetland and May. Bugstans, Dolphin, Stenberg still riding together. We've got Lefebvre, Montera, Louis, Bashurin, Amra, Pope, and then we've still got Adkins out. Oh, Adkins just being lapped there by the front group. They're coming into the final lap. Bergqvist on the front. Doug Hart putting in an effort to take the lead. Wooter Clace just responding to that. Pushing through, keeping control. The slight bit of climbing on the course here is Doug Hart. Kicks. Doug puts in a big effort there. 7.9 watts per kilogram. He's up at 667 watts. Wooter responds to it. As does Griffiths. Walagora straight onto it. Doug Hart eases slightly. Bergqvist Daniel just at the back of that group, Daniel Shock. He's back in again. A little bit of activity, a little bit of disruption there caused by Doug, just as a sprint up that little hill section. So Rowbottom, Fontan van der Peer. Gap opening all the time now. That gap's up to 640 meters to the lead group. Dino and Laser still putting in steady efforts behind. Slowly chipping away at this group that they're looking like they're going to make the catch before the end of the lap. Laser, and then we've got Stopples, Arara, Mike Wareham, and Swank just slightly off the back of the group there. Fly back up to the front because the front riders are riding at a pace now. See Doug Hart, Wood to Clace, and this is fragmenting now. Daniel Shock off the back, the elastic being thoroughly stretched. Griffiths off the back as well. Doug Hart up at 640 watts there with Woods Clay sticking to his wheel like glue. 5.3 kilometers to go, and we're seeing gaps opening up in this group. Woods Clay rolls through off the front. Doug Hart again back to the front. Daniel looks like his work for his team leader's done now. He's being distanced from this group. Bergfist and Griffith staying tight with Wouter and Doug Hart. While Agora has also managed to make it into that group as well. Just while there's a brief lull, I will mention to all the guys we do this as VCN for enjoyment. What helps us to enjoy it more is if we get subscriptions. So if you do see us on YouTube, Facebook, if you give us a like and a follow, that'd be fantastic. It just lifts our day a little bit to see that somebody's cared enough to hit that little subscribe button. And I hope you're doing it as well because you enjoy it and you want to see more of the coverage that we give. You see Doug Hart now, while Agora have eased off slightly, not quite as hard, pushing on the front now. Daniel Shock's managed to make it back into the group. Maybe he'll be able to lead out Wouter on a final effort as Wouter pushes on at the front. Opens up just a tiny little gap of 5 meters. Doug Hart reacts to it, drives through and over, goes again. Draws Wouter into a small effort there, these little micro efforts. Wouter and Doug very good at putting out these little bursts of speed and recovering quickly to go again. Bergfist still with this group. Daniel Schock still there. Griffith still there. Lagora, 3.1 kilometers left to go. Just check back on the Rowbottom Christophe Contant group. Christophe still working on the front of this group. Van der Paar, there's Maris, Rowbottom. Every time we drop back to this group, they seem to be making it pretty easy. The gap to the lead group is now 768 meters. Faustino still chasing. Only 50 meters from catching this group. But just as I say that, power shuts down. Barbara Herrera, Swank, Stopples, Wareham, back. And Laser's dropped back to this group now. Laser was up there with Faustino earlier on, trying to chase onto that group just a little bit up the road. Gonna fly back up again. Bolagora, Wouteclace, Doug Hart, Griffith, Daniel Schock while we were out watching the group behind. And Daniel has just been distanced now. He's got a gap there of 95 meters. He is quickly dropping away. Oh, Lorenzo Simons. Sorry to hear you couldn't join, Lorenzo. I hope it's something simple. If you want to direct message me after the race, if I can help you with any fault finding, I will do. I hope you can get back online. The newly relaunched RGT app, which has now brought everything under all the controls underneath one app, has been much easier for many people. There have been a few niggles, but the latest revisions have solved a lot of the problems for riders that were having issues. In the main, it's been very well received and fantastically stable for all riders, and cutting out the need for the mobile phone and the necessity to have connections going through two devices made it much easier for a lot of riders to get it stable, because of one internet connection, not having to rely on Wi-Fi to their mobile phone. Also sort of a bit more recognized, quite the correct word, but just have one device and use one device is a little bit easier and a little bit more similar to some of the other apps that are on the market. So made it a bit easier for some of the riders. And Lorenzo's saying the problems with his bike and not with the app. Hope you can get it fixed, Lorenzo. You're doing very well in the series standing. I think you're leading in the silver, and I think you're third overall, as we see Griffiths unleashing an amazing, powerful sprint here. 200 meters to go. He's gone early. Bergfist is chasing. Wouteclace chasing. Wouteclace comes through. Oh, don't lose it. We've got Wouteclace taking the lead. Bergfist in second. Doug Hart in third. Griffiths in fourth. Volagara in fifth. And Daniel Schock not quite finishing yet. I apologise for my terrible camera work there. Daniel comes over the line in sixth position. Van der Peer, Mark Rowbottom. Drop Christophe Contant group. Rowbottom takes the lead. Van der Peer in his wheel. Rowbottom's just too strong. Comes across the line in front of Van der Peer. There's Marius and Christophe Contant. Christophe goes. Christophe takes the 9th position from Marius. Bustino battled bravely to catch that group, but wasn't quite able to in the end. Pace just ramped up towards the end of the race. Lorenzo's shouting out for Wouter. Well-deserved win. Stopples is pushing now. Stopples is pushing very early. 600 meters to go. Mike Wareham gives chase. Mike Wareham comes through and over the top. Still 360 meters to go, and Mike's now opened up a slight gap on the riders behind, and he's continuing to apply the power. 640 watts, comes through a slight descent around the corner, and now the pack behind has the chance to overhaul him. Mike still giving 420 watts, but Barbara Herrera and Harenbeck close. Oh, that was very tight. They nearly had him in the line there. Stopples comes over in 15th. Swank in 16th. Laser 17th position. Hetland and Kupchak. Around the corner. By the roundabout. Onto the final straight. Kupchak opens up. Kupchak goes from Hetland. Hetland unable to respond to that acceleration from Kupchak. Kupchak takes 18th position. Hetland in 19th. Folkeston's 20th position. Folkeston broke away from Olsen and Stenberg. Just under a kilometre to go. Folkeston's coming round the hairpin, the roundabout now. Towards the finish line. $140 meters to go. Folkestone takes 20th position there. Stenberg, Dolphin chasing hard. Montero. Febvre behind him, but a big gap. So anyone that doesn't know the area, Borrego Springs, one of the biggest features there is a local artist made some steel structures, a number of different statues in the area. One of them is a big dragon, goes across the road, and they have all sorts there. There's jeeps, woolly mammoth, and they became famous in the Galata Meadows. Lefebvre comes over in 24th, Vero finished 23rd there, for sure 25th. If you're ever in the area, worth checking out these sculptures. They do look amazing. Become rugged and weathered in the hot sunlight, rusted bright orange. During now, less than 900 to go. We'll see for sure and over the line and Louis, and then we'll give a quick name check to the other riders still out there on the road, check on their progress. Sure enters this final roundabout, slight descent to the road. Enough to throw your tempo out as you come round and see the finish line. Sure, and sprints now 6.1 watts per kilogram. That brings him home. Louis, total suffer score there in the top right hand corner of 65.1 for Louis. Over the line. And then we've Amra wearing the RGT Founders kit. And riding the RGT Go Beyond bike. One of the users in the RGT Facebook group has just had their bike custom painted. Very nice it looks indeed. They've had the Go Beyond logo added to their bike as well. Very tastefully done. Very nicely, a nice paint job as well. See Amra coming over, 27th position. We'll just check in on Pope. Pope there, going along at a steady 175 watts. And 1.3 kilometers left to go. May, looking like they've had a power outage. And Adkins just cruising along. Hour of 114. They're down there in their lower power areas in the recovery, but likely that they're not actually treating this as a race. They're just out there having a recovery ride. Either that or they've got their FTP set incorrectly. Head back up. Pope now only 760 meters left. Travel. See Pope go over the line, then we'll bring the stream to an end. Hope you'd enjoyed watching the racing, listening to me drone on. Always great to be able to bring you this racing, all these community events that are out there on RGT cycling. Fantastic amount of racing to get into. Hope now. In a pedal airs. Kit there. Comes over the line. His total suffer score there is up at 70, so he's put in the effort this evening. Finishes in a time just over 45 minutes. Hope you've all enjoyed the stream. Really glad you've been here with us. And that's it for us tonight. We will catch you again next time. We will be live, if not before, on Thursday for the PRT handicap race.